Good afternoon. Welcome to Boys on Facebook. My name is Gina.
My name is Gerald Edmund Joseph Paul Gagne, and that's a fact.
That is a fact. Welcome to Boys on Facebook. Today is our 32nd show. We just want to say thank you to our viewers, to our customers, to our new customers, everybody who watches our show, who shares our show, and joins in with us with questions and comments. Today we'll be talking about fertility and breeding. Feel free to ask questions during the show, and we'll do our best to answer all your questions during the show. The show will end approximately 4 o'clock, and the auction will go from 4 o'clock to 4:15. I keep wanting to say military time. But
my wife still hasn't figured out what that military time. I know you use it. I know it pretty good. I was in the military. I think you ought to stand up just a little bit, because I'm looking at the screen and I can see thicker, but I can't see the rest of it. Scoot up a little bit so they can see your. Wait a minute. There it is.
I'm sure they can see it. It says thicker than the Snicker.
Yeah,
Just
thicker
like
than
my
a Snicker.
little mug right here.
And that was sent to us by?
On our anything but, you can ask if you want to know what it's about.
Okay. All right. Well, we do have lots to talk about. You were mentioning we are going to have the auction that benefits the Legacy Fund Trust. Real quick, Legacy Fund Trust is a branch of the National Pigeon Association, and our only goal is to raise money, and that's what we're going to do with these auctions, to support the hobby. If there's a project that needs to be done, or somebody needs money to, for whatever reason, to help the pigeon hobby keep going forward. And we've already sponsored one project, and we're going to be doing others in the near future. So if you would like to buy one of the pair of pigeons, remember you are actually donating for the future of the hobby. And also, if the bid is 100 or more, and we know it will be in almost all cases, your name will be listed in the National Pigeon Association quarterly magazine twice a year forever. Just as a recognition, your name, what city you're from, what breeds you have, and your date of purchase. So keep in mind, we're going to have an auction, and do you remember what 3 breeds we're offering this auction?
Rollers, homers, and utility kings.
Wow, getting good.
Thanks, Veronica.
Over there, sitting over there laughing, because she called. First of all, I was showing her some pigeons that we took pictures of, and I said, "What color is this, Veronica?" And she says, "Brown." Ain't no brown, it's red. But she says, "Looks brown to me." And I argued with her, but she still thinks it's brown. And then she wants to call the utility kings kings. I said, they ain't kings, they're utility kings that happen to be white, because they're our show kings also. Did I get off on a tangent again?
As usual.
The customers walked in a little while, half an hour ago, bought some feed, and they came because of the show. An hour and a half drive, but they just wanted to come down and see the store.
4.5 hours.
4.5 hours, and get a chance to meet us and talk. And we did. And then another gentleman walked in just before the show, and he said, I just come in to find out what pigeons are all about. Never had a pigeon in his life, interested in it, but he said, well, why do people keep pigeons? I said, well, why do people keep parakeets, cats, dogs? Why? It's a liking. People just happen to like birds. People keep all kinds of birds, whether they're chickens or whatever. So, and he didn't understand that part. He says, do they bite? I said, no. And I took him to one of the cages we have with some birds in it, and I showed him, and I gave him a catalog. But anyway, I thought it was kind of funny. Guy never ever heard of anybody keeping pigeons, and he walked in, and he says, I'm interested. I might be back. So, am I doing all the talking, or are you going to do anything?
I'm waiting for you to get done.
Take a deep breath, Jerry. Go ahead.
So anyways,
Oh, we do accept questions. Did you mention that?
I did.
I never interrupt you.
See,
before.
he don't pay attention to me.
Okay, go ahead. We'll mention it again.
We do accept questions during the show.
And we have questions already.
Yes, we have a couple already that we'll be putting out there and answering them.
People think this is water. It's cold vodka. Straight.
He always messes me up. But anyways, if you have any questions, just type them in. We'll answer your questions. I'm going to give you our phone number in case you have questions later. It's 724-843-6889. And if you have a question that we can't answer, we'll always refer you to Jerry, and we'll give you his phone number also.
And might mention that because we have a question and we were talking about it before the show, if you're going to send in a question, it helps if you tell us what state you're in. It tells me a little bit about the climate. It helps if you tell me what breed you have. It just because a feather-legged, blowed up like a powder, that just helps me. You know, if you're asking those kind of questions, it helps to know the breed, where you're from, and as much as you possibly can, supply me some information. I'll shut up. Go ahead.
Okay. We'll start with one of the questions. Veronica, can you show it to me? Okay. Jerry has, not this Jerry, the guy with the question. He has 10 to 12 racing homers. They slowed down on egg production, and to make matters worse, one pair lays more than the other, seems to set on their eggs for about a week, and then I find the eggs broken in the nest and the other one on the floor of the loft. It happens to the same pair over and over again. Years ago, I learned an old-timer talk about nest busters, a cock that would destroy his own nest after a while. Would you care to offer an opinion about this and perhaps a recommended solution?
Am I an old-timer? Because he talked to the other old-timer.
I'd say yeah.
Like 48 on an old-timer.
How are you 48 when I'm 48?
Oh, maybe I'm, let's see, 48, 50, oh, that would make me, I'm old-timer. All right, Jerry, in answer to your question, the old-timer may have been correct. The only way to really know is to try to spend more time in your loft. The birds have to be comfortable with you standing there. If you don't spend much time in the loft, they're not going to act natural. But if you're there on a regular basis, they get used to you, they're going to do what they do. And the point being, you might find out what has actually happened. So it could be a very aggressive male, not necessarily mated to the pair or one of the pairs where you're having problems, but sometimes an aggressive male will just attack, and sometimes they'll attack the same nest all the time. We can't figure it out, but so it could be a very aggressive male. Only way you're going to know certainly is to watch them and catch them. Or when you walk into your loft and you see a broken egg, just look around the loft and try to find a bird that sounds silly, but has yolk or a beak that's messy, and you know that bird probably was pecking at that egg and broke it open. It also could be the mate to the pair, the hen that laid the eggs. He could be overly aggressive because you mentioned it happened to the same pair on more than one occasion. The answer to that, if it's at all possible, is break up the pair and make that cock to a different hen and a hen to a different cock, and then see if it happens again. If it does, you'll know whether it was the hen or a cock that's causing the problem, an aggressive cock. So that's another thing you can do. Other than that, I really don't have much in the way of answering. So if you have want more information, I might have some questions for you. Give me a call at home, call the store. They'll give you my home phone number or my home phone number. I will give it off over again. You might want to get pencil and paper so you can write some phone numbers down. Hope I helped a little bit.
I have a question. I had a customer call, I think it was yesterday. He was saying that the shell was too thick for the bird to peck out. Did he call you?
No.
I gave him your number to call you. He said the shell was too thick.
I do not believe that's the case. It may seem that's the case.
Okay.
What was happening with the eggs? One man did call me and said the birds started to pip out or break out, and couldn't get through the egg. Mm-hmm. And I explained to him that it's probably not the case. He has probably, my best guess is a strain of paratyphoid. And what happens, the young in the egg at different stages, when they're trying to break out, they die from the exertion, or they were going to die anyways. And then one might have lived a little longer and gained some strength and tried to break through, and it died too. So it almost always, paratyphoid or other similar, E. coli could do it, but this drug that treats paratyphoid is the same. So my suggestion is to treat for paratyphoid. I do not believe the egg is too hard. It's almost always a case of them trying to break through. And sometimes they'll break through and they'll die from all the exertion. After they break through, they're so tired, they can't lift their head. The mother wants to feed them, but they don't lift their head, and they die. So all relates, I'm pretty sure, to something called salmonella. In the pigeon hobby, it's also called paratyphoid. Oh, I was looking at I was looking at a reading Good Housekeeping. Don't tell anybody I read. That's a girls' magazine. Huh? Yeah.
I won't tell nobody.
And they were listing diseases. I can't remember what the article was about, but one of them it could be paratyphoid. So humans, a different strain altogether. You can't catch it, but humans can catch it also, or can have it, paratyphoid. Did I answer?
I learned something new today.
Anytime you're with me, Gina.
True. That is so true.
Every day is a new experience with me.
That it is.
All right, we have another question.
Yep, we have Richard from Oklahoma. He wants to know what's a good vitamin to give your birds.
The best one, and I've said this before, is a combination of a vitamin and a probiotic, and we call it Ultra Pro. Why are you giggling? Veronica's over there got you know what kind of grin she's got on her face, and you're giggling.
I'll tell you when you're done.
Okay, but Veronica, when they ask a question, leave it there for a couple of seconds. So if I'm, a memory, I might forget what the question was.
Vitamins.
Okay, so Ultra Pro, but if you want to go just with a vitamin, it's, and the word says it, Ultimate Vitamin. Great product.
So Richard, the difference is the Ultra Pro is a vitamin and a probiotic, whereas the Ultimate Vitamin is just the vitamin. So yeah.
Okay. Another question. Or are we going to do something else?
We'll go with the question.
Okay. Heck, we can do the questions the whole show. The other stuff is just fill in while we're waiting for questions.
Okay, yeah. So is it okay to give birds some salt when they have babies?
No.
No salt. Why?
Okay. Salt is not good, especially for very young
babies.
ones. They love salt, sure, certainly, and we're not talking about bath salts. We're talking about salt. So no, I would not do it. Harmful to the young ones. I could go looking, because there's also iodine in salt, but just, Gina, don't question
what?
Don't question me.
No, I was just going to say, what reason do you have to give them salts? Is there a reason that you're giving them salts? Maybe send the answer back.
See, this is a pad of paper, and there's a pen. Now, you write down, ask Jerry later, why not salt, and I'll do some research. I ought to give you some homework, and you do the research. But I know it's not good.
Okay. I know it's not good to either.
Mm-hmm. But why?
I don't know.
Well, you asked me, so you wrote it down. Okay.
Anyways.
Let's talk to Jimmy. Smile, Gina.
Go
All
ahead,
right.
you can read it.
You were a little serious at the beginning of the show. Oh, wait a minute. Love your. Oh, I thought that said love your. I missed the H. Well, I missed the. I thought it said love your shit, but it says love your shirt. Okay, I'm sorry. Oh God,
you,
he's
Jimmy.
buttering up you. Looks like you lost some weight and you're just getting better looking. We ought to do sometime a real close up of Gina's face. Gorgeous
We
eyes,
shouldn't.
just gorgeous eyes, and a
Thank you,
beautiful
Jimmy.
smile.
I hope you're doing well.
Now that one, he can't come back and ask that when we have an Ask Anything segment.
He can
That was
ask-
already a personal kind of a thing, wasn't
that
it?
was a comment, not a
Comment.
question.
Oh, okay.
You can read the next one too.
Christopher, thicker than a Brooklyn cannoli. Didn't he send
That
some
too.
cannolis?
I need a shirt that says that too.
Because I never. Oh, okay. Didn't he send us some cannolis and I never got one?
A couple times we had cannolis, yeah.
Chris, send them to 3170 Bennett's Run Road. That's my house. Okay,
We've
we're
had
out
them
of
brought to
questions.
the shows
I
a couple
wondered,
times.
we're going to be talking about breeding, and as we go on, we might get it all in, we might not. But we get questions on tobacco stems. Hold that on the spot. This is what a box of tobacco stems look like. Because when I was younger, I sold tobacco stems, and they were nothing like this. See how straight they are? The old ones were all curly and crumbled. Well, these are really top quality. And we get these from Belgium.
Smash your poop.
Pardon? Oh, right on the poop. I squashed the poop. So people get these and they're not sure how to use them because they are brittle. They break. And it mentions it in our catalog, but it's important. Number one, why do you want to use tobacco stems as nesting material?
Because the smell, it deters the insects, pests, bugs. No?
That's not the answer.
I don't know what answer you're looking for.
So why do they have that warning on cigarettes and tobacco and cigars? It says warning, this could be hazardous to your health.
Right.
Because?
Causes cancer.
Right, because what's the word that's in it?
Nicotine.
Nicotine. Ought to put a dunce hat on her.
I don't know what answer
Okay.
you wanted.
This contains
They're all right.
nicotine. You are right.
They're all right.
And the stem, see the leaves are here, they pull the leaves off and they end up with a stem. But it does have a strong odor and it does have a lot of nicotine. And the nicotine, as you said, kills bugs and lice. Anything in there, it's going to help keep the young healthy. It won't hurt the young itself. But what you've got to do, get yourself like a 5-gallon can, not a 5-gallon can, a 5-gallon bucket of some sort, and take out what you think you're going to need for one nest bowl. Put it in the water, and in less than half an hour, they will be very wet and very pliable. And that's when you take them out of the water, where, if you think it's important, I guess it is, wear rubber gloves, because we're handling nicotine. Well, I don't. And form this in a round circle that will fit right into your nest bowl. So it varies based on the nest bowl that you're using. And when they dry, they're in the perfect shape that you want for your nest. Now you might have a little area like that in the very center, and that might require you to take a few pieces and break them off, and they're wet, and form them in the center. Great product, comes from Belgium, where it's hard to believe, but we ordered, 4 pallets, 5 pallets? Maybe we ordered 300 or 400, and they came in a month ago, and guess who's out of tobacco stems? Just about.
We have 5 boxes left.
So if you want a box of tobacco stems, we got 4 or 5 left, and we have to order them, which will be done on Monday, and they come out of Belgium, so it does take a week or so to get them. Okay. If you have a question, we've got a little bit of time. Send your questions in through Facebook.
Yep.
You had some questions over there you want me to talk
Let's talk about some of the products.
Okay. All right. when you are breeding your birds, first of all, most important thing is that they're healthy. They should have been vaccinated. If you're going to put them together now, they should have been vaccinated at least a couple of weeks ago, maybe a little bit more. But if you haven't, you should. Vaccinating at least for paratyphoid or PMV, and you got a call yesterday, I answered the man's name. You can do them both at the same time. Boom, 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 boom. It's easy enough. It used to be we couldn't do that because one was oil-based, one was water-based, but you can now. So vaccinate before. Now, when it comes to breeding, I was out working with the birds, getting them ready for the auction we're going to have, and they're in a breeder unit, 4-level breeding unit, and there's one pair in each breeder unit, cage, compartment, and under that, they're standing on wire, and underneath are green trays. And Veronica was out there with me, and I was explaining to our granddaughter, Sam, look at these droppings. They're about as perfect as you could possibly want. You need healthy birds. Those birds that are out there in those cages are in excellent health. And she kind of turned her nose up at me and was a little upset because we're doing this show in her office, and she doesn't like the idea of having pigeon poop in her office. But I'm going to pick it up, and she couldn't believe I was doing that. And I'm going to try and show it to you. Okay. That is a perfect pigeon dropping. The white that you see, the feather, and under the feather there's a little white, that's urine. And the closer, okay. And the droppings themselves are underneath in a very light, not light, a greenish cast to a dark color. The important thing is, right there, okay. The important thing is the feathers that you see. When you see these feathers, these are down feathers. When you see the real fluffy down feathers stuck to the droppings, that's what you want. So there's an example of perfect droppings, and here's another one, the feathers right there. So I just wanted to show you when we talk about perfect dropping, that's what you're looking for. You want to take those, Veronica? You want to take them?
No. You put them right back right there. I'm good.
Okay. So in talking about breeding, let's assume your birds are healthy. Another thing you can't do is, I'm going to talk about him. You interrupted me.
I'm sorry. Another thing, I don't know what you said.
We were talking about
healthy birds.
Healthy birds. And I still forget what I was going to talk about. So I'll go back. Jerry Gustin asked about nesting material. Is that the one? You pointed at that.
No, you had poop on there. That's what I was pointing at.
Poop on. See, when you work with ladies, if I had a guy here, wouldn't be a problem at all. I know Dr. Pigeon used to pick up the poop all the time and show people. Huh?
He used to play with it, and while he's eating over here.
Anyways, that's first of all, good health, vaccinating. Oh, I do know what I was going to talk about. It's a simple sentence that I use all the time. And sometimes people don't listen to me. But there is a saying I used to use all the time, and it is, a man
convinced
against his will
is of the same opinion still.
So what I'm saying is people just won't accept the idea that you cannot medicate your way to good health. If they're sick, treat them. If they're not sick, why in the heck do you want to give them antibiotics? And a repetition, but I guess you learn from that. I use an example that today you feel perfectly healthy. The sun's out, you're feeling great. Oh, I better go take my antibiotics so I don't get sick next week. Does it make any sense? It doesn't. So what I'm saying is, and I'll give you an exception too, but when you're talking about antibiotics, you can't clean your birds out with antibiotics. Only way antibiotic is going to work is if your pigeons have something at that particular time. So if they're healthy, don't medicate. The exception I would want to talk about is protozoa, which is, what are the three, can you remember what the three protozoa examples are?
Can't say I can.
Worms,
Okay.
canker,
Okay.
coccidiosis. You got it. Those three do not require antibiotics to treat. So if you are concerned, canker, coccidiosis, and worms, then 3-in-1 is what you want to use. Because 4-in-1 has an antibiotic in it. All-in-1 has lots of antibiotics in it. So if you're going to do anything, treat them with 3-in-1. And then if you have an issue, if you have a problem, you can send droppings in for us. We have a veterinarian that will look at them under a microscope and many times call you and discuss your problem. So that's one of the things to do. Keep an eye on the droppings. You'll know if they're loose, green, light green, dark green, then you probably have an issue.
Why didn't you tell me my hair's a mess?
I didn't want to embarrass you. You know, I never, ever wanted to embarrass you. Who said your hair was a mess?
I can see it.
Oh,
I have a question. So,
okay.
if you give your birds antibiotics on a regular or when they're not sick, what's going to happen?
Thank you. That's a leading question. Is that what you were trying to do? Lead me into a discussion as to resistance. If you continue to use medicine, time after time after time, your birds are going to develop an immunity or resistance to that drug, and when you do need it, it won't work. Thank you for asking me that.
That's the answer I was looking for.
Thank you. All right,
That is
let's see
correct.
what Richard has to say. Wasn't Richard on this one? Oh, we're going to have to ban him. We can't take two questions from the same person.
Yes, we can, Richard.
Oh,
Don't
okay.
pay no
All right,
mind.
Richard.
Are pine needles good for nesting?
Absolutely
Great.
yes. I like the long ones. You find them more down south, the long pine needles. If they are available to you in your area and they're short, they're fine too. They're soft, and the birds seem to like them, so the answer is yes.
William, does anyone make a test kit for droppings like a home test kit?
Not that I know of, but there are a couple of different books that you might want to check on, or if you want to call me. The only way you're going to do it is it's not inexpensive. You have to buy your own microscope. And there are 2 or 3 different books. Dr. Colin Walker wrote one. I have one from Germany. I forget who wrote that one. And they talk about using the microscope, and they show you what you're looking at and what you'll be looking for. So it would take a little experience, and the best thing you could possibly do is hook up with a vet, and he would look at the droppings and tell you, and you would look at them so that you recognize it. The easy one is coccidiosis. I think that's the easiest of all.
Yeah.
But so there is no kit, but if you want to learn, there are books that will help you, and you'd have to purchase a microscope and the slip and all the different things that you need. What's that fluid they call?
Flotation liquid.
Yeah, flotation liquid. So I hope that answered your question.
Sandra, the auction will be in 30 minutes at 4 o'clock.
We do it from 4 to 4:15. But Sandra, if you are interested in bidding, the birds' pictures are on Facebook, and you probably can get in now and make your bid now, and we can announce the bids, and we do, and then you can call during that 15-minute auction, and we'll show you what we have bid. Like the racing homers, which we're going to be talking about, are 175. We have a pair of kings, and what were they? Do you remember by chance?
Nothing.
We have a pair of utility kings, and we also have a gorgeous pair of rollers that will be going up for auction. Okay. we were going to talk about fertility.
Yes.
All right. We sell a lot of different fertility products, especially this time of the year. This one here is for breeding pairs. It's called multi-breed. It comes from Dr. Bosi in South Africa, who formulated. So it's a combination of vitamins, minerals, amino acids, things that your pigeons would need to keep them healthy, and it'll also give you better feather quality as the young grow. So this is a powder, and it goes on the feed. We've talked about that before. Some people just don't want that, but it's the best way. In Europe, that's what they do. They put it on their feed. Then we've got something called Fertical. Ferty short for fertility. So if you've had problems with fertility with older birds, then this might be something you want to try. But the cal means calcium. It's important that during breeding season and before that there's calcium available to them, and calcium will help you have a stronger shell and prevent rough shells. So this is, once again, this is a powder that's made into a paste with water, and it goes on the feed. This is product made in Belgium. It's called Vitaminer, and it is brewer's yeast. And Gina was asking me before we started the show, believe it or not, we spent hours planning this show. We probably started around 9 in the morning and talked about doing this show until 3 o'clock. Is that the case?
No.
No. When do we start planning our show?
About 2:30.
Anyways.
Well, we do the week before and the day before.
Yeah,
so
we
it's
pick
not just,
a topic, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we do spend some time.
But I think you guys appreciate it. It's not rehearsed. We just do
Clearly.
it. Sit down and do it. So anyway, the brewer's yeast is, here again, it's very high in protein, and I think that's important also. If you have questions, you can always call us. There are other products we're out of that we also sell. It's a product very popular called Breeding Edge. It's a liquid, goes into water. We sell these two products. If you've had a fertility problem with a pair, especially older, I say older because they're more apt to be infertile. But keep in mind also that young birds, the 2018 birds who are now being bred, you're going to, many times you're going to lose the first round or the second round. They might even have the eggs hatched. The birds are almost all feathered, and the young pair, leave them. That's why you'll hear so many people leave them because of, what's the word I'm looking for? They have no experience raising young and hatching eggs, and they don't know what to do. They have to learn. So you might lose the first round. That's why in a lot of cases you'll see we recommend that you mate an older bird to a younger bird. One of those two does have experience and might make it a little easier, and you'll lose fewer birds. But this assumption that a fertility product will work on hens and cocks, when you have an infertile bird, it's better to use one. This one is a tablet made for hens. This one is a tablet made for cocks, because they each have their needs when it comes to fertility, and a male's need is not the same as a female's needs. Well, that's in humans too, isn't it? Yep.
That it is.
Okay.
I just wanted to mention on the Vitaminor brewer's yeast, we do have other brands of brewer's yeast as well.
Did you move my water?
You handed it to me.
Oh, thank you. Okay, we're taking questions. If you got one, I think Mr. Anderson is back, but you wanted to mention something.
How'd you know?
I know.
You saw my hand, huh? Anything but. So if you have anything but a pigeon question, feel free to ask now.
And those are questions that don't have a darn thing to do about pigeons. You might want to know about foys. You might want to know about me. I know you want to know about Gina. I got a complex. The questions are always about Gina. When that man walked in earlier that knew nothing about pigeons, he said, "How long have y'all been in business?" and I said, "Well, the company is 138 years old." So we've been around for a bit of time. We're the fourth owner in 130 plus years.
Four?
2 Foys.
Oh, okay.
And,
I always say the third.
The
I
original
didn't realize that.
Frank Foy, then
Then
Charlie
his
Foy.
kid, his son, right?
Yep, his son, and then Minnesota, it would be, we have a question. Claire Hetlin and the Gagne family. Okay, go ahead. Oh, what is the difference? Go ahead.
What
I'm
from
not close.
Richard? What's the difference between bald head roller and
Regular.
regular roller?
Uh-huh.
I guess.
Absolutely nothing except color. A bald head roller, there are bald head tumblers, there are bald head, a lot of different breeds. It's a color combination. The head is white, and don't we have can you pull up that picture of the rollers that are on the auction? I want to show them one of them is a bald head.
You can just tell him. She
Okay.
can't pull it up right now.
The bald head roller has a white head, and then the rest of the color, I've got a pair of black ones. So black body, white head, and usually the last 2 or 3 feathers on the wings are white. So if it's a bald head roller, it has nothing to do with the roller breed itself. It's just a color.
I learned something else new today.
Darn.
How about
Well,
that?
I hope Richard just keeps asking questions. Oh, the first
That has
one
to
question
be
about
Kim.
Gina, 2 questions about Gina, and then
That's Kim commenting.
then if you have a really difficult question, 724-843-6889, and Kim is sitting there waiting for your question. And then she'll panic and run in here and open the door and ask us the question. All right, we gotta go ahead.
I'm
Tom.
gonna answer.
Go ahead, Gina.
Hi, Tom. So, I use a couple different things. Just
Well, read the question.
he asked what hair products do I use. I can't even tell you. My favorite hairspray though is the Aussie,
How do you spell that?
AUSSIE,
Okay.
because it smells good. I love the smell of it. I go with smells.
Hear that, guys?
But Kim's right. I do have a lot of different products, so it depends how my hair's acting that day. Which clearly I'm having a bad hair day. I am a little under the weather, so yeah, I'm having a bad hair day.
We were kidding before the show. I was talking, I don't know if it was Veronica or whether it was Sam, but I was saying, I remember when we used to do the first few shows, she'd disappear in the bathroom for, well, maybe I'm exaggerating, but half an hour.
He's exaggerating.
And she would be fixing her hair and spraying this and doing that, eyeliner, and brushing her teeth. And now
Don't listen
she
to him.
walks in and sits down and we do the show. Pays no attention. And that's why your hair is a mess.
I feel crappy today.
Okay.
I have for days. But anyways, so yeah, I have a whole, what's my little thing called at home?
Vaporizer?
Vanity, a whole
Oh.
vanity full of products.
What's the
Josh, he said,
had-
Gina, love the shirt better than that jacket, my Stiller jacket. I was going to wear my Stiller earrings just for you today, and I forgot. But thank you. I love my shirt and my cup.
We have some questions there, and or we're going to talk about something else. I was going to mention that I don't even think Veronica is aware of this, but I actually formally, without a doubt, started on the catalog today.
Wow.
And as you know, we've mentioned it before, a catalog takes a year or more sometimes to create a brand new catalog. We basically start from scratch. So, with you knowing that, number one, is there something in the catalog that would make it easier for you, or something you'd like to see in the catalog that's not there? We have tips all over the catalog. We have suggestions, just a lot of different little things about medicine. So if there's anything you would think would be an addition to the catalog, we'd love to hear from you. We are, I think we are the leader. I think we have the best, and I'm not patting myself on the back, and Gina, Veronica, pat. We have a great catalog. If you don't have it, get it. It's over 200 pages. This is it here. Well, I said 200. It's 122 pages, just full of information. So the new catalog will be available somewhere around the January of 2020, somewhere around there.
January-ish.
Yeah, right.
Ish.
Also, a lot of the products in my catalog come directly from suggestions to pigeon fanciers, and we take them very seriously. But if you mention a product, it doesn't mean I can do it in a week. A new product sometimes takes 2 or 3 months. Give them an example. We talked about Ron Simpson's feeder.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's been
Last summer.
last summer, yeah. We've been working on it, and we finally finalized it, and we'll be getting some in soon.
It's a feeder heater stand combination. You can put a heater under it. Don't have to, and it's going to be, I think, a great seller. It's a stand where the birds actually will jump up on the little perch landing where they'll jump up, so they'll be off the floor, and they're going to drink the water on the stand. So your water is going to stay cleaner much longer. And then there's a hole like that goes underneath where you slide your heater, so you can put your drinker there too. So you can buy two, one for feed, one for heat, and the water will stay warm when you plug in your heater. We also have a very thin heater that we have made exclusively for Foys out of Poland. They make it, and it's very thin, so we designed it so you can use a metal heater with an electric light bulb, or you can use a very slim feeder around, and it's made to fit right under there. And there's a flip top, just in case your feeder is too high, you can flip the top up in any height you want. So that now it's going to be. It's not on the website yet, is it?
No.
But it will be on our website within a month. Yes. So that idea came from a good friend, Ron Simpson. We actually stole the idea and discussed it first, whether we wanted to do it, and then we asked him. You know what we did? No.
Yep. We did ask.
We did get permission.
He had
all
over the
place, and just a great idea, and we added it to us. So the point being, if you have an idea of a product or have a need or something you think we should sell and don't, every catalog we do, we add new product, but we also take away product. So there's going to be maybe 8 or 10 products that are in the catalog now that will be removed, either because we can't get them, and that's most cases,
right,
or they're just a terrible seller. We've had some bloopers over the past. What was one of my bigger bloopers? I can't remember. I had something, we bought a lot of them. The blooper. It's in the catalog now. It's a 4-level metal cage unit for breeding. Each level is 2 cages. That's a gorgeous thing. I thought it was shipped knocked down because it stands almost 6 feet high and maybe 4 feet wide roughly. So they shipped them. We opened up the containers. Oh my God. We can't ship them by UPS, or we can't ship them by FedEx. They're too darn big. So
they're expensive to ship.
Very expensive. Well, we could, but you're talking probably a couple of $100 to ship it, and most people won't buy it. So we take them to shows, and when if we take 2 or 3 at a show, because they're so big, we can't take that much room.
Right.
We never bring them back. They're always sold. So the best thing is, if you're anywhere near within driving distance, we're close to the turnpike. You take the Pennsylvania Turnpike, and we're 5 minutes away. Pick it up yourself.
But we only have 6 left.
Why did you let me make that whole spiel about?
Because why
didn't you just stop me and say, Jerry, we only got 6?
Well, because it did take a while to sell them, but people love them. They're just expensive to ship.
Okay. You'd be gullible.
So it wasn't.
Know that?
I know. So one thing I wanted to say about the catalog is, a lot of times at the shows I offer the catalog to customers. They say, no, I look you up online. And I tell them the catalog has a lot of good information. Like Jerry said, it has tips. Excuse me, it has tips. It has all kind of information that you may not see on the website. Because on the website, you may be only going to one particular product or something to look at, and you're not going to see everything. Whereas the catalog, everything's right there. So always try to get the new catalog as well.
We mail it free, and if you have a friend that needs one, you have one, or you both need one, then just let us know. We'd be glad to send them out to you.
Yep. We have a question. Jerry from Oklahoma.
That's a second Jerry.
Uses 4-in-1 prior to mating. Are you saying 3-in-1 is better?
Yes. That was easy. The reason is 4-in-1 has an antibiotic in it for paratyphoid. I don't believe in using 4-in-1 or even all-in-1 as a treatment, with the exception is you call me or you have absolutely no idea what the problem is, so all-in-1 is the shotgun approach. If you use 4-in-1, it's got an antibiotic, all-in-one's got an antibiotic, the better one is 3-to-1. 3-to-1 has no antibiotics, canker, coccidiosis, and worms. So my answer is I'd much rather you bought 3-in-1, which is I think less expensive, than 4-in-1. What was that for?
Nothing.
Oh, okay. See, they keep stuff from me. I think I've told you before.
It's a need to know.
We're all woman company except me, and they take advantage and they pass notes. I know they're talking about me.
If you needed to know, I would tell you.
Kim walked in and gave Gina a note and nodded to Veronica, and I have no idea what that was all about.
Okay, so we have a question from Tom. What are the several vaccination products you will have available this year?
There are only 2 in the United States. One is for paramoxyvirus, PMV1. The other one is paratyphoid. Some people call it salmonella. There used to be a pigeon pox vaccine. That's no longer available. The manufacturer didn't think it was a big enough seller because the patent ran out or the formula ran out or something. So they had to make a whole new batch, and it wasn't worth it. That's roughly what happened. I understand there is a virus, a vaccine available from Europe. I think it's a combination. Do you happen to know, was it PMV and paratyphoid, or no, a virus, adeno or something like that. But anyways, there's a vaccine that is being made available in this country, and I spoke about this before. I really don't know anything about it. It's hard for me to speak for or against it. My only concern, all viruses have to be shipped with a cold pack of some sort. And when you're shipping from Europe, it takes more than 1 or 2 days to get here. How does that vaccine work? Kim just stuck her head in again. I'm going to get her on the show. So I'm concerned that if you get it and it's warm, it may have been destroyed.
Right.
I'm really appreciative of all the questions that are coming in.
So we have 2 vaccines. They're both $139 for 100 doses.
And they used to be half a cc, but now it's a quarter cc.
And just so you know, everybody who gets the bottle, it's like maybe a third or a quarter full, but that's all it is because it's only a quarter cc. It's not a full bottle.
And the reason for that, I think, is the bottle is about this big. But if you made a bottle this big, be lost, be harder to handle,
right.
Hold it and stick a needle in. So you get about, like Gina said, I think it's about a quarter of the bottle, but that's a full bottle, or that you're getting the full product, not a full bottle.
A lot of people think that it's spilled or something, but no, that's how it is. Okay, we have another question from Sam. Is Fertical even in effectiveness with the fertility pills?
Is even in effectiveness with the fertility pills? I think that you're asking, can you use them both at the same time? I think that's
what I'm
what that
getting.
is. Pardon?
That's what I was.
Yeah,
How I was reading
and the
it.
answer is yes. Yep. One goes in the feed, one's a capsule. Follow the directions, though. Don't overdo it. Richard Anderson wants to know when we're coming to a show in Oklahoma. Probably the only time we would consider going to a show in Oklahoma, because of the distance, is if the Grand National was there. And I can't see it going there for a period of time, so I can't answer the question. The shows generally are too small. Even if it's 1,000 bird show or 15 bird show, if it's a 14 or 15 or 16 hour drive for 3 people plus running a truck, business-wise makes no sense. I do want to mention this, so it just came to my mind. It's been announced that the show, the National Pigeons Association's Grand National, that was going to be in Fresno, California, has been canceled. Or the better word is the show's not canceled. We've have to cancel California. The whole state of California is in a shutdown. There can be no shows because of the virus that is in the state itself. And California is very persnickety. That means fussy about that kind of stuff. So the whole state's closed down. There can be no shows. And I understand the Los Angeles pageant of pigeons is not going to be held in 2019 either. The Grand National has been moved to Amarillo, Texas, where we had it not this year, last year, in Amarillo, which was a successful show. So there'll be information on the website for the NPA. There'll be information in the quarterly magazine, but the show has been moved from California to Amarillo, Texas. Okay.
Terry asked, do you sell in the book Encyclopedia of Pigeons?
We had that on last week, didn't we? We do sell it.
Is that the one? Yeah.
It's about this thick, about 3 inches thick. Great, all full color, full color book, hardbound, not cheap, but it's still available. But it's the same encyclopedia that was published years ago, maybe 20 years ago. So, but it is a great book. And what is it? How much
Encyclopedia of Pigeon Breeds.
And how many pages?
That one, right?
Yeah.
I don't know how many pages it don't
Lot.
say.
I'm thinking, may I look real quick?
Yes, you may.
Well, thank you. You can talk about
It's
your hair if you'd like.
It's
768 colored pictures.
right.
768
You made me
pictures.
forget. It's $164.
Yep. Great book. Great
Don't
book.
close my book.
Okay.
Thank
All right,
you.
I'm sorry. Dennis asks.
Dennis said, "Love the shirt and mug. Made me giggle a bit." Thank you.
Well, I think we ought to set some sort of
How you gonna cut me off?
a tradition, and I think the company would pay for it. You ought to have some new shirt every time you come on the show.
Every show.
You know, something to make people laugh or chuckle or things like that, or sends a message or something.
And you should
like
wear a funny hat. How about
Well,
that?
let's scrap both those ideas. I wore a silly hat one time, and I felt silly. All right, Terry, thank you very much. Go ahead.
Before he cut me off, I wanted to say something. This shirt is from Chris, and Chris, if you're watching, thank you so much. I love it. And my mug as well. I told you I was going to wear it on the show and tag you on it, so if you're not watching, you will see it.
Also, Chris reminds me, we're going to be introducing some new products in the catalog, and we might bring them in before the catalog comes out, because we'll put them on the site. And that's the ROPA, R-O-P-A products, all natural products from, I'm thinking Germany, but I could be wrong, could be Belgium. Overseas, been on the market for years, very, very popular overseas, and the company approached us, or we approached them, I'm not sure, but we'll be very proud to be adding ROPA over the next few months, and then in our catalog.
So we'll be on a lookout on our website. It'll be listed under new products, so it'll probably be on there sometime next week,
Oh, that quick.
within the next couple weeks.
I was just reading her notes. She wouldn't tell me what Kim wanted. It's not there.
We'll be there then. Anyways, it'll be on the website in the next couple of weeks. Just keep an eye out for it. Will be several products we'll be getting in stock, and we're excited to start on that new line.
Okay. Dennis?
Hold on, let me go back to Terry.
Okay.
He asked how much the book was. It's $164. The item number is 803.
That does not include shipping because it's a real heavy book.
Correct. Yeah, that's before shipping.
Okay.
But priority mail won't be that expensive. Dennis asked, "What's y'all's favorite breed of bird and why?"
I know he's not asking me because you're the
He
one
said
that
y'all's.
No, that means he's asking you.
Y'all is more than one.
Well, you're always
He
saying
didn't
y'all.
say you. He said y'all. I do say y'all. My favorite is, I forgot the name. How did I forget? With the fur coat.
Jacobin?
Jacobin.
Okay.
Yeah. Looks like a fur coat. It's just pretty to me.
When I first started in pigeons, almost 70 years ago, it was the clean leg tumbler. In fact, it was a black one, and I still remember the one that I had. I love that bird, that breed. Now, I really like racing homers. I have a lot of them, and I've raced before. The reason I like them is their feathers. When you pick them up, they almost slide through your fingers if they're in good shape. And that affinity, and I think that's the right word. I'd like to use a word of the day.
I know. I know.
I also love the show racer. Once again, for the same reason, a really nice, smooth, glossy feather. We're going to run out of time. We're going to talk about
That's
the
okay.
auction. And
I also like all the different colors. They're just all the pretty colors. I don't care what it is. I like the different colors.
racing homers. I have a lot of pretty colors in racing homers.
There's a lot of them, though.
By the way, I do sell racing homers, utility kings, and rollers if you're interested.
Stephen, wish you guys would sell Harker's products too. Used to use them a lot back in the UK. You ever heard of that?
Oh yeah, I've sold them before. Before I used to have another business called Ganya Brothers Pigeon Supply, and Harker's was one of the products. In fact, Harker's is the one that sells the one pigeon canker medicine that we can't get. Forget the ingredient. Spartrix.
Spartrix. That was popular.
Dave, I'm writing myself a note, and
I'm writing
Gina's
it
going to
too.
write a note to remind me to read my note. I've talked to him on many occasions. I'm thinking it was cost because the pound in England was out of whack with the American dollar, and when we converted it, it became an expensive product. Plus, there's issues in getting it into the country because it has to come through customs, and there are a lot of drugs that the custom agents will stop, and we've had it happen before. So I'll look at it.
Joseph asked, do you know anybody that has priests?
Catholic Church. Well, don't they? Priest. It's funny. Our last auction, we sent out 3 nuns. And the question as to, off the top of my head, do not. But if you will call me at home, I'll be home after the show, or you can call me on Monday. But call me at home. I'll do a bit of research, and I will find some priests. Phone number is 724. Did you have your paper ready? Did they have the paper?
Yes.
I did warn them about that, didn't I? 724-843. Oh, that's my home. That's my business, isn't it?
Yeah.
724-462.
No.
Oh, I don't
That's
give
your
that one.
cell. No.
Okay. 724.
I'll do it.
Okay.
724-359-5355. And if you ever call his house number and he doesn't answer, he's either on the other line or running errands. But he will see your phone number on the caller ID and he'll call you back. You cannot leave him a message.
Yeah, it's intentional. You can't leave a message.
Okay. We have to end right now because we have to get to the auction. But the next show is Friday, March 8th. If there's anything you want us to talk about, anything you would like us to show you, just send us a message or give us a call and let us know, and we'll be happy to do the show on whatever you'd like us to see. The auction is going to start in a few minutes. Just hang tight and we'll be right back with you.
Yeah, the birds are in another room, so we have to go and take the camera there. But remember, the auction is for the benefit of the National Pigeon Association Legacy Fund Trust, and you're really donating, and your name would be recorded in the quarterly forever. And I've never said this before, but I'll say this. If there's a breed of pigeon that you would like to see in an auction that we have one every other week, I'll do everything I can to bring in that breed for you. Thanks an awful lot. Foys appreciates your business, and we're going to go and talk about those auction birds.